Today's how-to is how to change the thermostats on a 6.6 Duramax. The truck that I'm using is an 04 with the engine code 2. I'm taking the baffle off of the throttle body and I'm using a number 30 torque socket. And I'm using a 5/16 socket on that hose clamp there, just to loosen it. And it pops right off. I'm just going to get this wire out of my way for the AC. There's a little bracket right there that holds that wire harness on. Just need to get that out of the way so that you can get at the housing there a little bit better. There should be 4 or more bolts to take off. This is the leader bolt there, and this one, and this one, and this one that hold the housing on. Just using 2 short extensions to get these bolts loose. This extension has a little swivel on it, and it looks really good for getting these in here. Once they're all loose, pull them out. So what I've done now is I've taken this clamp off of this hose and pried it up a little bit out of the way, because I'm trying to get this hose to lift up far enough that I can get the thermostat housing out. So, and I can't get it to lift, and I need to take it off right here. There's a clamp that holds this hose on, and there's bolts one way down underneath here that I can't get at. So in order to get at that bolt, I have to remove the bracket that holds these wire harnesses on. So first of all, take this bracket off that holds the wire harnesses, and it's a 12 millimeter. Oop. And down she goes. A smart thing to have around is a magnet, which I should have used on this bolt because it just dropped. I'm gonna have to find it out, find where it is, maybe fish it out of there somewhere, or might have landed on the ground, I don't know, but it's better to have a magnet to pull it out of there next time. Now this one is right underneath this hose here, so I don't think I can get in there with a ratchet, but I'm going to use a ratcheting wrench, also a 12 mil. I think I just found another one.
Another bolt?
I believe so. Right down here. Well, that better be it. And this time I'll get the magnet and pull that one out. I just need to be able to move it far enough out of the way that I can get down at this other bolt that holds this line on. That's got it. I have to use a little force to move that over, but it's coming out. Just getting it with 2 fingers, 1 finger from my left and 1 finger from my right. Oh, why did I have to make them so long? Now, this should be the last one. I always like to get rid of the hardest ones first. Now, with any luck, I should be able to move this out of the way far enough that I can pull this out. Looks like I can. Something else holding it yet. One thermostat is stuck in here. Should about do it. And there's the thermostats down underneath there. And don't get mixed up with them. There, right on top of that bolt, get it out of the way. Just make sure you don't leave the old O-ring up inside of here. This one got stuck on there. Now, this back one, you can see those two holes, they face to the back of the engine. They have to go back in that same way on that thermostat. I'm just going to clean that off of there a little bit, the black stuff. Here's the front one. And the rear one. I wiped the inside here as best as I could. There's a little bit of black stuff left on there from the seals, but that's alright. And I ran my finger along the bottom here and without my glove on, and made sure that there wasn't any rust spots underneath here, and wiped it off with the cloth a bit. So grab that back one. And make sure that those two holes are facing the back. And the front one doesn't matter. And now take it off of this bolt that was holding it. And just wipe the bottom of it there too, just to make sure that there wasn't any dirt gut on it when you had it sitting there. Back into place, and shouldn't need any sealer on there. Those rubber seals should hold it just fine. Just put the screws back, bolts back in, and snug them all down first before you tighten any of them up. I don't know what the torque spec is on these, but I generally don't bother with a torque wrench on something small like this. Tight but not over tight, that's all I could say. So to me that's pretty tight considering it's screwed into aluminum. You don't want to over tighten that because aluminum will strip very easily. So I'm going to put these two bolts back in that hold this hose on, and I'm going to put the bolt back in with the magnet same way that I got it out. So I've got those two bolts back down that hold the hose in place, and there's three bolts that hold this bracket in place that hold all this harness, and they're quite a nightmare to get at, so I didn't videotape. I was starting to run low on battery. This hose, I had taken the clamp off and pulled the hose out part way just so that I'd have enough room to lift this other hose up. So I've got that down and back in place here again, and Now I just need to get my wiring back in place where I had it. This one went underneath here onto the AC. And this bracket just gets tucked back underneath here. And this pin goes down into this hole here and goes into place there for the bolt. And I undid the clamp there, so just do that back up. I've got the bolt on the end of my socket here. And make sure that stays in place. Make sure you're not clamping any wires underneath anything. And just look over the wiring, make sure that nothing got unplugged that shouldn't have. Okay. The only thing left is put the baffle back on and fill it up with antifreeze. Make sure that's all the way down and do this clamp back up. And tighten that bolt back down. In order to fill the radiator back up, you need to